Well, guess we're heading back to the good old days of extra deck vomiting because the links clearly suck at their job. And oh yes, pendulums remain screwed for some reason. What's up y'all, it's Ark, and as you might already know, we got a huge info dump several hours ago while I was asleep. Anyways, let's get into it. First, I think we need to talk about the new master rule, which is being officially called Master Rule Revision, which will go into effect in April for the OCG and most likely will take effect in the TCG a few months after. So we pretty much went from this to this. And what does that mean? It means players are now allowed to basically summon fusions, synchros, and Xyz monsters from the extra deck to the main monster zones in addition to the extra monster zone without link monsters pointing to those zones. It's not clear yet if one needs to summon to the extra monster zone first and then go for the main monster zones, or if you can simply choose to summon monsters directly to the main monster zones, which will definitely make it more flexible if one wants to save the extra monster zone for a link monster later in the turn. I'm gonna take a guess here and say it's the former though, where you need to place the monster in the extra monster zone first and then use the main monster zones, but we'll have to wait on that. Also, there have been rumors saying that you are limited to only summoning one type of extra deck card into each main monster zone without links, but that's false, and you can in fact summon as many monsters of the same card type as you wish. As for pendulums and links, everything will remain the same. I've seen people complain about pendulums still being only working under links unfair, inconsistent, and arbitrary. But the way I see it is that pendulums were the main reason links came to be, and yes, I'm having Performage's flashbacks, and that format was just horrible. The deck just wouldn't break for shit, and the boards it would end on, gosh, was so fucking strong. I do think it's a little bit unfair since you can circumvent those situations with the ban list, since the majority of pendulum decks aren't that crazy, but I can see where designers are coming from. I mean, they just spam too fucking hard, man. As for links, I think they should be fine. I mean, by themselves, they were already in a situation where they didn't give a damn whether or not they were being played under their format, well, except for the extra monster zone, which wasn't a thing back in the day, because in dedicated link decks, they already functioned better than any other extra deck centric deck, since they open up lots of main monster zones as they go. So in a way, it was only really unfair to other extra deck type decks. As for playability, they will still see play no matter what, since not only they are used for their arrows, but also simply because some of them have crazy effects. You have the Boros, Isolde, Crystron, Hockey Fibrex, and I hope I'm saying that right. The list goes on. Things like non-effect link monsters though, those are definitely dying, as if they were dead already. Now I think this will bring back a few decks like DDs, Fluffos. I remember Fluffos being kind of scary back in the day, and I actually fear for Jinx Peter. I worry about your Jinx Peter. I worry about your well-being. I think it's getting the axe because it's really spammy, and that shit will probably lead to some Quasar Blazer shit. I can already picture it. Stuff that were unplayable due to their own restrictions will definitely see play, like Rex Godwin's new oracles from Legendary Duelist Immortal Destiny. Gosh, they were so fucking trash, and Master Rule 4 should be fun revisiting those types of decks in the future, that's for sure. Moving on to the new series, which will start airing in March, I think. I haven't found confirmation on that, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around that date. It's called YuGiOh Sevens. Let's go over this real quick because we don't really have much information on it except for the Rush Duels, which we'll be talking about in a bit. So we got introduced to the setting, and the series will take place in a not so distant future in a city called Goha. Here's a picture of the city and its school right there. We learned about our main characters. The protagonist, Yuga, his rival, I think, Gakuto, the Seto Kaiba of the series. We also got the Joey Wheeler of the series in Luke, which is Yuga's friend. And lastly, we have Romin or Lomin, I don't know, which is your usual female character. They're all 11 except for Gakuto, who's 12, and they're all students in Gohai Elementary School, which is the school we just saw in the previous picture. Not much to say about it, except, well, it looks a lot like it will be an Alolan YuGiOh, because the art style reminds me a lot of Pokemon Sun and Moon, except it has better animation, at least from what I saw from the trailer. I don't know, man, I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. It looks fine. The only thing I'm kind of iffy on is their gimmick, which is being carried over to the physical card game, and that's a new format called Rush Duel. So yeah, let's get into it. Well, Rush Duel is a new format much like Speed Duels and Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, but it has specific cards, and by that I mean monsters with a completely new layout. So here we have YuGiOh's Ace Monster Sevens Road or Load Magician. The layout reminds me a bit of Pendulums with the bigger artwork frame, except everything else got a bit simplified. The duel field for these types of duels seems to have only 3 monster zones, much like with Speed Duels, which goes along with all the idea of making things simpler for the younger demographics, I think. Oh, and yes, we will indeed be getting Rush Duel products for the physical card game, for the OCG at least, and in addition to the usual stuff. Not sure how they're gonna go about the anime stuff, but I could see them releasing like 2 versions of the same card, one for Master Duels and another for Rush Duels. Anyways, the rules for Rush Duel so far is that you can normal summon as many monsters as you like. Monsters are also said to have simpler effects to further attract the kids, I think. So here we have Rush Dragon Dragears, which is the ace monster from one of the rivals. I'm not sure which, but I think it's probably Gakuto's. Looks cool. The other rule is that during the draw phase, each player gets to draw until they have 5 cards in their hand. So I guess we have a Forbidden Memories sort of format. That's interesting, not gonna lie. Kinda wanna try it, seems fun and all. Well, I guess that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts on the new master rule are, and do you think the anime looks like absolute crap like the majority of the fandom is saying? Do you think it looks okay? You have issues with younger protagonists? What are your thoughts on the new Rush Duel format? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be a duel replay video. Don't worry.